You got to give it at least 1 year. Yeah, you do 50 grand, about 40, 50 grand a month.
Not bad.
In the summer. I know a food cart do about 100 grand a month. And make sure people see how clean you are.
What is going on, y'all? Today we've got the American dream story of Saied. He came over, started with nothing, and he owns 3 food trucks. We're going to get into exactly how he makes over $54,000 per month. But first, let's hear a little bit about his background story.
I started my first food truck in 2004. It was hard because I didn't have any money. I had to borrow money from here and there to open my first food cart.
But why food cart? You could have started a restaurant, any other business. Why this particular food truck business?
I didn't know better. I'm a cook. I couldn't open a restaurant. Food cart is a good way and it's low risk. You can take it anywhere. You can sell it whenever you like. You can move it wherever you like.
Awesome.
Okay, a few things that I want to touch on that Saied just shared about opening a food truck. Number one, he said he started with little to no money. This is what's so beautiful about new entrepreneurs getting started is that they can start a food truck really with nothing. I personally started with $70 and an ice chest on the side of the road, and now I have multiple restaurants and food trucks. It sounds like Saied did the same thing, and I've heard this story over and over again. So minimal investment, you can get started. Number two, it's a low risk investment. What does he mean by that? Well, in my experience, what you buy a trailer for, you can resell it for that much, if not more. So you can buy a trailer, you can try it out, decide you don't like it, you're not any good at it, people don't want what you're selling, and then you can sell the food truck, and what you wasted a little bit of time and got an education. So it's a low risk investment. Okay, so a common question when opening a food truck is, how do I secure the best location? Said's got some thoughts. Let's listen in.
To be successful in the location, first of all, you have to make sure this location have more than 1 food cart, at least 10. Make sure it has a brewery. The most important key to be successful, brewery or a bar, not a tent, not plastic, but the bar is bathroom. Make sure you have regular bathroom. Gray water disposal goes in city water. Make sure you have a good bar, which is heated in the winter, and have an AC in the summer so people are comfortable to eat and come down. And playground, fire pit, tent. This all indication it's going to be good location. Neighborhood.
Right.
Neighborhood is very important. Parking. Make sure it has a parking around the lot. You know, that's another indication that's going to be successful lot. You got to give it at least 1 year. Don't just change location to location. You will never be successful. Sit there. Even if you're losing money, sit there and wait. Just work how you become successful. Fix your mistakes. Do not just change location. You think you're going to be okay. No.
Okay, so Saied obviously has some experience here. He knows what he's talking about. A couple things I want to touch on. Number one, he first said about breweries. Breweries are a great location no matter where you live in the nation, okay? Breweries, it takes a special license to serve food in breweries, so it's very common for breweries not to want to get that license. And being able to have food trucks on a rotating basis is a attraction for breweries. So if you're opening a food truck or if you're looking for a good location, I would absolutely suggest calling your local breweries, seeing what they charge, seeing how often their rotation schedule is, and then getting on their scheduling books. Another important piece that Saied mentioned was being somewhere for all seasons. What's that mean? That means it has to have parking available, whether you have snow or not. There needs to be coverage. There needs to be bathrooms, things like that. So it's really important to consider not just the summertime when sales are up, but winter time sales are going to go down. Is your location good and accessible for the winter time? And then lastly, Saied mentioned to give it time. I love this piece of advice that he shares. He obviously had to do this himself, and he's seen rewards from it, but you have to be patient. You have to give time for people to stop by. The process is they're going to stop by, they're going to try you. If your food is good, then they're going to come back. Then they're going to tell 10 friends, and then they'll come back. That doesn't happen overnight. He pairs that with the excellent advice of, though, fixing mistakes. You need to learn from your mistakes. And something that I've always done in my food trucks is I've asked for customer feedback. I always say, I don't get better from compliments. I appreciate them. Thank you so much for the 5-star reviews. But if you want to really help me and succeed, then let me know what I could do to improve. So if you haven't started a food truck yet, I'm sure you're wondering, if I'm going to go take the risk and leave my job, how much can I really expect to make? Said's got some insight on that. Let's listen.
Well, winter is Oregon. You don't make money in Oregon State. It's cold. It's cold. It depends if you have like good gig next to bar. are next to a brewery and they have heaters, and then yes.
Right.
In the summer, if you do 1,500, just calculate it. What you do 7 days a week, that's calculated.
So what is that, like 50 grand a month?
Yeah, you do 50 grand, about
40, okay.
50 grand a month.
Not bad.
In the summer. I know a food cart do about 100 grand a month. And like sushi carts, Boki Bowl, some cart do 100 grand a month.
Expect seasonal changes. Saied just hit the nail on the head. You can't go in and have a wonderful summer season and expect to say, I'm going to have these types of sales all year long. It just doesn't work that way. You need to be a squirrel. You need to store some of those sales and those dollars away for the winter times. I personally stayed open throughout the whole winters. I live up in the Northeast, and yes, it gets snowy. You have to accommodate with coverage, floor, expect to be plowing, all that fun stuff. But I personally like to stay open all year around so people could always get their fix. I know some food trucks in the industry that like to do a seasonal thing. It's really up to you. How do you want to live your life? I know types of food trucks that make all types of schedules work, so it's up to you. So expect those seasonal changes.
Make sure you have enough cash to open a food cart and at least 6 months. Make sure you have some experience, cooking experience, and work in a food cart for a while or restaurant. Marketing, know your number, knows your suppliers, knife skill, all that sanitation, your books. Go work for someone else. Go and work food cart. See how stressful or how stressful it is. It's very stressful.
For real.
And can you handle stress? Can you handle 50 people waiting online and they want food now in 1 minute?
Okay, Saied and I disagree a little bit here. He suggests that you have enough cash for 6 months and that you have tons of experience. That is one way to go and probably the safer way to go. My personal journey, I didn't have a lot of money, and I also didn't have a ton of restaurant experience. I did some at-home cooking, and I had some family recipes, which I started my food truck with. So I don't think that there's a wrong way to do it. If you don't have money saved up, if you don't have a ton of restaurant experience, I don't want that to discourage you from getting started. The number one thing that you can do to be successful is to take a step towards your dream today, whether that's picking up the phone, calling your local health department, your local town, and saying, hey, I want to start a food truck. How can I do it? I personally, in my personal journey, I had a ice chest, and I heated bricks in the oven, wrapped them in foil, and I made my grandmother's migas, breakfast tacos, and I stood on the side of the road with a marker board sign. It took me $70. I didn't have my licenses, I know. I eventually had to get those, and I learned everything about them, but I only share that with you. It probably wasn't the smartest way to start, but that's how I get started, and it's led me to 6, 7, 8 years now of learning and the best life of my dreams. So, whatever you're thinking, whatever reasons you say, hey, it's not going to work, I can't get started, shove those out of your mind. Take one step today to get started. Okay, so even though Saied and I didn't see eye to eye necessarily on what you needed in terms of cash and experience to get started, there's one thing he's about to share that I 100% agree with, and I think we should pay attention.
The main key, use fresh ingredients. Fresh garlic, fresh parsley. Do not use powder garlic or use like dry herbs ingredients. Use fresh herbs. Use fresh romaine heart, night iceberg. Fresh chicken, not frozen. Cut it yourself, marinate it overnight. Add fresh ingredient. Do not be cheap. Do not cut corners. That's why people are not stupid. They will know. They find out.
Right.
Customers smart. They will know. Fresh from frozen.
Quality, quality, quality. Quality is everything. I have a personal rule when people are asking me about starting food trucks or restaurants. It's if your customers can make what you make relatively quickly at home, then you're not serving the right type of food. If they can unpackage something and put it in the microwave and press a couple buttons and 5 minutes later they have similar quality to what you're serving, then I would say that you're in the wrong business. You're wasting your time. A simple example is buying pre-shredded cheese. You should never buy pre-shredded cheese. They put a powder on the cheese that makes it not stick together. It takes more time, more labor, yes, to shred that cheese yourself, but the quality is just that much better. Same thing like he mentioned with herbs and parsley, cilantro, things like that. Guacamole is another one. You never want to buy that or make that ahead of time. You want to try to do that the same day of. The rule of thumb is as soon as you start slicing an ingredient, it starts losing quality. So quality, quality, quality. I cannot hammer this home enough. and make sure that whatever you are making on your menu, customers cannot make that easily at home.
Sometimes you got to pay to get those reviews, like pay Yelp to put ads.
Right.
Which is politics. Google, you got to get those reviews. A lot of customers, they will do it without telling you. They just appreciate you and they leave you reviews.
Right.
And some customers, they're unhappy, they leave you bad review. But you need to talk to these customers so they come back and fix that review and get their food back or their lunch or their money back. This way they're satisfied. But reviews are really, really important.
Reviews. What he is saying is absolutely true. Reviews matter so much. Specifically, Google reviews is what I focus on. Yelp is important as well. Yelp, for some reason, tends to be more negative, but it is not against the law to ask for reviews. You can also print out QR codes that will take your customers directly to your Google review business page. I would highly recommend that anytime a customer gives you a compliment, they finish their food, they come back over and say, that was the best burger I've ever had. Say, thank you so much. If you wouldn't mind giving us some 5-star love on Google, it helps more than you know. Thank you a ton. That goes a long way. And I'll mention these days with technology, everyone goes straight to their phone or online to look for the best restaurants. How does Google rank those? It's all based on your reviews. So 5-star reviews are so important. Okay, so for those that haven't gotten started yet, I'm sure you're wondering what are the costs associated with starting and running a food truck or multiple food trucks. Here's what Saied has to say.
My first food truck, I bought it 1963 at Camber. Was old truck and cost me about $10,000-$15,000.
Just for the truck?
Just the food truck, yeah.
Okay. And fully built out?
Fully built out about around $18,000, my first food truck in 2003.
Okay.
After that, my other truck is brand new. It costs about $28,000 to $30,000. Then, now about $50,000 and a good food truck, about 50 grand, at least $50,000. It depends what budget you have. I mean, I prefer to buy used and good shape, and it's quick. You can open a week later, but it's about 25 to 30,000 used. A new one about 50 grand, like this truck over here, 50 grand at least.
Do not let startup costs discourage you from chasing your food truck dreams. There are multiple ways to get started that won't cost you $18,000 to $30,000 to $50,000. One of the most common and popular that I see and that I actually got started after my cooler was I worked my way up to what I called a taco tent. So you can have a tent, a grill, a hand wash station, and for a few $1,000s, you are off to the races. You can start generating revenue that will allow you to save for a food truck later down the road. Now, also, another way, if you have a little bit more money, I would highly suggest a food trailer. If you have something to tow it with, a food trailer, you can disconnect it. It's less likely to break down. It can sit in one spot, in one location, kind of be like a mobile restaurant. You don't have to move it very often. But a food trailer oftentimes is a lot less expensive than starting with a food truck.
So events are obviously a good thing for business.
During the summer.
Yeah, does it cost to get in them? And
Yes.
what does that do for the business in terms of profits?
Some festival, you do great money. You do about $5,000 to $10,000.
Wow.
They take 10% cut.
Okay, so they take about 10%.
Yeah, some festival you lose money. Why? Because they brought too many trailers. They got greedy. They charge you too much to be there, and also the weather.
I see. Okay,
if it's rainy and cold and people do not show up, or they charge like in the door. If they charge like fee, like entrance fee, people.
Food truck festivals, I love them. And I also love to hate them. So there's a lot of pros about food truck festivals. One being is that you have a risk reward and your reward potential is very high. You absolutely can do 10,000 plus at the right food truck festival. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is if you're a new food truck starting out, food truck festivals are a great way to introduce new people to your food and to get them on your social media channels. So a lot of positivity that comes around from food truck festivals. Now, what are the downsides? A lot of food truck festivals, they don't care if you're making money. They make their money on the fee that they charge you. So you have to go into it knowing that there might be a potential for you to lose not only the fee that you paid, but also prepping all that food. And if you don't have an event the next day, you could lose all that fresh food that you prepped. Also labor. If you hire a bunch of people, which you would need to do 10,000 plus in sales, you just hire these people. It rains, not many people turn out to the event, and it's a big washout, and you end up losing money. Okay, so what Saied said about mitigating risk is super important. I actually have a list of 5 to 10 questions that I send out to all food truck festivals that we apply to. I include questions such as, how many vendors are returning from last year? If vendors aren't returning, then there's a reason why, and most likely it's because of poor sales. I ask, what type of marketing are you putting into the event? How are people finding out about it? What's your anticipated turnout? Questions like this, the more due diligence that you do, the more prepared that you can be. And I've avoided a lot of poor performing festivals just by asking these questions. If you're starting out in a food truck, you want to avoid as many mistakes as possible. The ways that you can do that is you can learn by experience, make mistakes, but that's the most costly way to learn. You can read about it, and it's kind of theoretical and say, okay, I'm going to go put this into practice, which is a good way to learn. But my favorite is asking mentors and watching videos and researching people that have already made those mistakes and learning from their mistakes for free. Let's hear from Saied and some of the mistakes that he suggests that we all avoid.
Try to be as open to customer. Sometimes you have to their problem. They'll tell you about their problem, the divorce, the stories. If you have time, listen to them. That's one of the main key I do.
So the mistake is just, what would be the mistake specifically?
Don't be just about money only.
Okay.
Like I have friends 20 years ago, I still friend with them, my customer. They still come back to me. We became friends. They came to my house. We eat dinner with me sometimes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's how you build a relation, you know? Be like almost, they come home, they want to eat, they feel home. They know they're going to Saied to eat, lunch is like home.
So the mistake that I'm sort of interpreting with your answer is they're not focused on building a relationship with their customers.
Yes.
Here's your
money.
Yeah, here's your food, give me the money, I don't know you.
Exactly. And make sure people see how clean you are. Make sure you have your gloves on. Make sure don't eat while you're talking. Make sure your mouth is clean, your teeth is clean, don't have parsley. Make sure your food is the same. Consistency. Make sure it's clean. Because even a regular customer, if they come once and twice and the food is like every time is different, oh boy, they're not gonna come back.
That's true.
And guess what? Every time you lose a customer, they will take with them 25 customers.
Wow.
And that's take a long time.
That's a big...
Because in the office, it's 25 employees, 30 employees. You'll talk.
That's
they will
true.
talk. Saied gave me a gyro with hair on it today. Woo! That's destroys.
Nobody wants a hairy gyro. That's for sure. So Saied just mentioned a couple mistakes that I really want to highlight. Number one is not being all about money. So I'll share a quick story. When I first started out, I made, I think, 30 breakfast tacos. I put them in my cooler, and my wife dropped me off on the side of the road, and I had my marker board sign. I think I might have been charging $3 per breakfast taco at the time. So in my mind, I had already made 3 times 30, which was $90. That first day I was on the side of the road, I sold 2 breakfast tacos. I made $6, and I had to roll my cooler home with my tail between my legs and all droopy. So do not count your money before you make it. Do not be all about money. It's all about relationships and connecting with your guests, because it's not just what you're serving them, it's how you make them feel too. So be yourself, connect. I can't stress that enough. The other one, obviously, is cleanliness. We've all heard cleanliness is next to godliness. Cleanliness, people eat with their eyes first. If they come and they see people without gloves, if they see people sneezing, touching their face, people will not say anything, but they also will not come back. So make sure you are clean, clean, clean. Look from your customer's perspective. You're outside your food truck. Look at what they're looking at. Are the tires full of mud? Outside, is it all dusty? Is the the tent hanging over you, is that dirty or frayed? Look through the eyes of your customer and see, would I eat here again if I was a customer? The last and most important to me is consistency. I always say that you serve consistency. People would rather have a 9 out of 10 product, 20 out of 20 times. Then one time they come, it's a 10. The next time they come, it's a 6. And then it's an 8. And then it's a 4. And then it's a 10 again. They just don't know what to expect. And they're not going to come back and eat at your food truck. So consistency is key. You sell consistency, and you want to sell delicious consistency. So document your processes, document your systems, taste tests, do all the things necessary to make sure that you have consistent, clean, friendly food truck that you're serving. All right, guys, so that is Saied's story of how he took nothing and turned it into a 3 food truck empire, making over $600,000 a year. This is not out of your reach. He is no different than you. I am no different than him. We are all very capable. It just takes getting out and taking that first step. My name's Tito. I took a $70 loan with a taco cooler on the side of the road, and I've grown it into 3 restaurants and 2 food trucks, and it has been the journey of my life. It has been awesome, challenging, so rewarding. And I just want for anyone who is out there thinking about starting a food truck to take that first step. And I hope that this commentary video was helpful. Do me a favor, if you liked it and enjoyed it and got something from it, it would mean the world if you would subscribe and like to it. Leave me a comment below on any future commentary videos or how-to videos or most popular videos that you would like to see. It would be my pleasure to bring them to you. So thanks for tuning in. I will see you next time.